Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. And I think you're 30 minutes from lunch, so I'll keep the presentation very brief. I've got about 15 slides to go through. But listen, the market doesn't close till 2 o'clock, so you still have 2 hours to buy our shares after I take you through the story we are developing. I'll skip through the usual disclaimers. When you look at the corporate overview, we've had an interesting run over the last 12 months. In May, June this year, we had to recapitalize the company because COVID-19 impacted on the project that we were developing called Savannah North in the Eastern Kimberley. Since the recapitalization, we have about just over 2 billion shares on issue. We are completely debt-free. Our market capitalization is about $176 million. And with 30 million in the bank, our EV at the moment is $145 million. As part of the capital raising that we did in May, June, Western Areas became our number one shareholder at 19.9%. Western Areas, as you know, they're one of the largest nickel operators in WA. Our second largest shareholder is Zeta Resources. They have been with us since 2013. They're a very astute investor with a long-term view on the nickel pricing as well. Our third largest shareholder is RIU Metals, which is Andrew Forrest's group. They entered our register about 6 months ago, and they are currently at 4.99%. So it's a very strong shareholder base that we have. In regards to the board, the major changes have been Nick Sonata became our non-executive chairman in May, June, as part of the capital raising. As part of Western Areas coming into the company, they have the right to nominate a board member, but not the obligation to do so. And at the moment, I don't think they would put a board member in. If anything, from what I've seen, they're more concerned about having the 2 members. We have a technical committee where they have 2 members, we have 2 members, and we share ideas around technical input into the underground project that we are developing. After the recap, we are now well poised in regards to a good long-term nickel project. It has operational opportunities, and shareholders have a runway in front of them in regards to exploration potential. The Savannah ore body, which I'll go through in a little bit more detail, there's a reserve of 102,000 kilotons of nickel, and the resource is 209,000 tons of nickel. So less than 50% at the moment has been converted into reserves. Over time, as we drill, we'll develop it, and the mine life will expand. It comes with infrastructure. There's a plant. The replacement values is about $100 million. And all the logistics routes and all the infrastructure is there to bring the operation straight away into production. And Savannah North, which is the project that we were developing, is basically a virgin mine that's hardly untouched. And it's actually open in all directions when it comes to exploration. We did suspend the operation in April this year, and it gave us the time to come up with a new reserve, a new mine plan, and as I said, we've got 30 million in cash right now, and we are unhedged at the moment, which is with nickel price going up, it gives us a good opportunity. In August last month, we brought in Barminco back to site. They are mobilizing into site. They're actually working on some of the capital projects that we wanted to get done so that we are in a position to restart production in the first half of next year. And more importantly, we've just started an exploration program as well, which I will touch on. In regards to all the infrastructure on site, they are in good condition. There's a processing plant, power station, tailing storage. We still run the plant on a weekly basis so that the crusher and the mills are not, they don't rust away. And the whole idea is that we will be in production, or we are trying to be in production at the back end of next year. The project is in the Eastern Kimberley. To get there, we fly from Perth to Kununurra and then drive to site. And Windham Port is the port that we used to use to transport our concentrates to China. Savannah is a high-quality asset, and Savannah North, which is the project that we were developing, is the price that we were going into. When you look at Australian nickel sulfide projects, they're like hen's teeth. They're very hard to find. The nickel sulfide operations that are currently operating are producing grades of less than 1%. I think the average grade is about 0.6. And most of those mines are coming to their natural end as well. And when you look at Australian nickel sulfide projects, we are quite well placed when you look at the nickel equivalent grade. So we have nickel, copper, and cobalt in our ground. And when you look at it, and when you compare it to projects such as Nova and even the Odysseus project, they are very well placed. Nova, from memory, has about 5 to 6 years left. Odysseus is owned by Western Areas. That comes into production in 2023. Whereas we have a 13-year mine life that can be restarted within the next 6 to 8 months. If you have a look at the explorers and developers, and I've got a graph on the right-hand side, we are very well poised compared to them. We have a reserve, we have a resource, we have the infrastructure, and we are probably up the curve in regards to bringing that into production. And currently our share price is just around 10 cents. And I am blown away that we're not at around the 15 to the 18 cents, but we are promoting the company now, and I think the market is slowly waking up to what we actually have. The mine plan itself is very different. So we had a mine plan that we were based on, which was running in 2019. When we shut down, we had extra exploration results, so we came up with a new reserve plan, and now we have a vastly different mine plan. So the mine plan now is 13 years. Previously, it was 7 years. We have inferred material in the mine plan, which is about 20% of the reserve, or of the mine plan, sorry. And there were 2 different deposits we were trying to mine, which was the Savannah and the Savannah North deposit. Our focus now is to try and get more from Savannah North. And we've taken a very conservative approach. So when Savannah operations ran, it ran for 12 years. The dilution in the mine was about 12%, whereas the new plan, we've diluted the ore by about 22%. The mining recovery in the old plan was about, when the operation ran, was about 114%, whereas we are running the new plan at 90%. The plant can do 1 million tons, and we are running it at 900,000 tons. We've escalated the cost. We've changed the mining strategy, so it's gone from an owner mining strategy to a contractor approach so that we could meet our targets. So overall, it's a very conservative plan that we put through. Savannah, when it was operating for 12 years, the average grade was 1.35% nickel. Whereas the mine plan we put together now, we brought the grade down to about 1.22. It's all about having a conservative approach to meet the, to execute when we are up and running. So with this conservative mine plan, the financial results that, the outcomes are very positive. So when you look at the base case scenario as well as the consensus case, so there's 2 different pricing decks that we've used. That's on the bottom of the table. The financials are quite attractive. We have been very transparent. We put all the cost into the project so that it's very clear. And on base case, we are running at about $7.54 a pound. And at the consensus case, it's about $7.14. Today's nickel price is about $9.40 a pound, so there's a good margin to be made on this project. In regards to capital, we need about $223 million for the life of mine. And over the 6 years, it pretty much averages $25 million per annum as well. The cash flow is fantastic, $468 million or $637 million based on the 2 cases that we look at. And the NPV is quite attractive as well. So a very conservative plan with good financials is what we have for Savannah North. So what we are doing right now is the underground contractors came back to site. Their target is to do all the capital works in regards to finishing off the ventilation raise for Savannah North. I'll show you a picture in a second, and open up further operational levels in Savannah North so that when we restart the processing plant, there's a steady supply of feed coming into the plant. The second stage is exploration. Previously, we've been drilling around the mine or very close to the mine, and now we are taking a regional approach to it as well. So there's some further focus on exploration, which I'll speak to as well. So the picture on the right is the layout of Savannah, and then the Savannah North, which is at the bottom. The ventilation raise is the long vertical line. So that's the ventilation raise that goes all the way 900 meters below to provide ventilation to Savannah North. Savannah North is the new mine that's going to run for 12 years plus. In December last year, we had to stop the raise boring exercise of this ventilation raise because we had some bad ground in this area. So we stopped that exercise. We then we went and got some geotechnical consultants, contractors, the technical group from Western areas to come up with a solution on how to get around this bad ground. And we came up with a solution that we are currently underway, which we are working on. And this is one of the benefits that Western areas brings with their technical committee as well. So the solution is actually, it's quite simple. We are developing a horizontal drive into the vent raise, which we are currently about 120 meters from completing, and we'll complete that in September. So far, we have been on plan, we've been on budget, and it's tracking really well. Once that's done, we'll bring the raise bore rig that'll set up here on the surface and then finish that part. It's 350 meters to do, and we've got a pretty detailed plan on how we are going to do it. So once that ventilation raise is done, it will provide enough ventilation for the rest of the mine. In regards to exploration, we haven't done that much regional exploration for a long time. We've had this ground for nearly 20 years. And we made an announcement today that we've actually started a surface exploration program. So we are targeting some prospects called the Oxide Prospect. This is the Savannah complex that we are mining at, and Stony Creek, where there are some structures that are 300 meters below surface, which we gave this exercise to CSI Arrow. They've come up with some highly prospective targets to drill that are very similar to Savannah complex. So if we can find another Savannah, that's going to be the company maker that'll keep us going. So we made an announcement today. You could have a look at detailed at that time. On the underground exploration side, so the picture here on the left is from the surface. It's the Savannah North deposit. And at the surface, the yellow and the green is joined together. It's one bulk deposit. But as it goes deeper, it goes into a lower zone and the upper zone. It's two separate lenses. In the upper zone, there's a couple of EM plates that we would like to drill. And what we are seeing in theory, all the theoretical studies, is that the grades improve with depth. And we want to try and drill that in October this year. If that theory is proved right, we would see higher grade, and we'll see another lens that comes into the mine plan, which will give us an additional horizon to mine from, as well as another four plus years of mine life as well. So that's why their focus is on near mine exploration as well. Now, where it's great mining nickel, but where is nickel actually being consumed? It's certainly on the EV marketplace. People like Elon Musk have been, very publicly seeking very clean products for nickel concentrate. The European government is chasing, they're focused on EV batteries for the car industry, and the Chinese demand is also there to make EV batteries for cars. So that's where most of the interest is coming through. Our product that we make from the operation is a very clean product, which is well sought after by our offtake partners. And our offtake partner, which is Jinchuan, is currently expanding their plant by 40% as well. So there's a lot of need for the nickel concentrates that we will be producing. So that brings us back to the investment summary of Panoramic. Listen, we have a long life, large reserve resource at Savannah. It's backyard of WA. There's asset base, infrastructure base of $100 million that's already been spent that could be brought into production straight away. The mine plan is 13 years. It's a very conservative with very attractive financials. And right now in the ground, we are developing, opening up Savannah North, as well as the exploration exploration program is underway right now. The market is slowly waking up, and you guys heard a good story here today, hopefully. Thanks.
Thank you, Victor.